Let's take a look at the grocery row garden. We planted the grocery row garden back in March of this year. It's now July, so we're only a few months from putting these plants in the ground. It's looking beautiful, really enjoying the rainy season right now. You can see our beautiful zinnias that are booming right now. We're finally getting some winged beans growing up our trellis. And really it's turning into a jungle out here, but I'm gonna try to walk you through and just show you what's growing on. We got Seminole pumpkins that are creeping along. This is our powder puff tree. We've got some tomatillas that are growing really well here. Peaches are doing well. Look at these cassava. This is the Togo variety. We planted that just about 4 months ago, and it is booming now. It's probably 7.5 feet tall. Started off from a cutting. Really enjoying that. We've got our Suriname purslane back here. Different varieties of okra. Got some wonderful varieties from Seed the Stars that we're happy with. Amaranth here that I've been cutting back. This is something I'm trialing out, which is basically using foods as a source of chop and drop. So this is Callaloo amaranth. Eat it, cut it back, let it start to re-sprout, feed the cuttings to the garden, and then obviously eating the greens, and can eat the seeds too if we like. These are pigeon peas, gandules, that are growing from seed. We purchased this bag of seed for 50 cents from a Latin market. Had no idea if the seeds would take, but they are absolutely booming. We've got some beautiful pigeon peas growing now. Red lady papayas. And if you can see here, we've got this young pickering. So the system we're setting up here is we're growing the pigeon peas and the papaya as umbrellas to protect our young mango trees. And we're doing the same with our avocados in this back row over here. Again, Seminole pumpkins, just doing whatever they want to do. Tomatoes are dying back now, but sugar cane's popping out. We've got more of our peppers, all different varieties that are coming in. More okra over here. We got a beautiful beauty berry that's starting to throw its berries. So we're looking forward to the beauty and the edibility of that plant. More sugar cane. Here we've got our black-eyed peas that we tucked all in. Again, we just bought these black-eyed peas from Sprouts, and then we took the seeds, threw them in the ground, and they're taking off. So it's a wonderful way to have that double use as food, and then also as a ground cover. Got some holy basil growing in here. Great medicinal, and love the aroma of that. Apple trees are doing pretty good so far. The Anna and the Dorset, they've only been in the ground for a few months, so we're hoping that those continue to stay strong. Let's keep walking through our system here. You can see just the density of how everything is growing. You can see all the plants are trying to grow into the pathways. Again, we had 4-foot beds, 3-foot wide paths, 4-foot beds, 3-foot wide paths, and we had 3 of those. So you can see the density here, and what I do is I come through and I cut back all these sides, and I use that food as the chop and drop to feed back to the system. This is a perfect example of that. We've got the Cuban oregano here. This literally is trying to eat the entire grocery row garden, but it's a great way to use the food as a chop and drop and as a ground cover. Love the multifaceted aspect and the dual applications of plants like that. Got our Scarlet Beauty Plum. Check these out. Right here, these are some of the peppers that are doing well for us. I believe they are called Ají Chinchi Amarillo peppers, and they have some nice spice to them. They are orange right now. They will turn like a faint yellow, but we're loving those so far. Adds a nice little spice to the dishes. We've got some more peppers growing over here. I think that's called the Jimmy Nardello. I believe it's called the sweet Italian pepper that's growing as well. Then we've got all kinds of stuff. Egyptian spinach. Again, this is a great ground cover, chop and drop, edible plant. We've got our longevity spinaches growing. Chia seeds. Again, bought some organic chia seeds from the store. Did some chaos gardening, threw them around, and we've got this big, beautiful chia plant growing. Great source of organic matter, chop and drop, but again, it can be used as an edible if needed. Love the kind of set it and forget it type plants in the system. Another one of the apples, the Anna and the Dorset. We've got another one of our peppers right here. This is supposed to be a sweet pepper. We're looking forward to trying that out. African blue basil here, booming. Love the pollinators that it attracts. Great aroma, great medicinal. Now we're getting to our second trellis. We've got a moringa growing just next to it. We've got our beautiful cranberry, or our roselle right here, which you can make that Florida cranberry with. Underneath, we've got our katuks tucked in, and then we also have some malanga. I bought these malanga from our local supermarket called Publix. I cut them up into little pieces, tucked them all around the gardens, and they are big, beautiful, happy tubers now. So looking forward to eating those. Very similar to taro, the Hawaiian dish, if you've never tried those before. So up here, we've got our loofahs growing, Puerto Rican black beans, yard-long beans. And I'll show you in here. You can start to see some of our loofah gourds. So these are edible, but we've just been letting them dry out so that we can make loofahs from them. Really love that we're getting homemade sponges, and then we just throw those in the compost when we're done with them. So let's see, out here on the back side of the system, you got to check out this Seminole pumpkin. It is absolutely booming right now. We're starting to get some really well developed Seminole pumpkins. As you can see there, one right next to it, right here, another one. These are a little bit on the smaller size, but healthy, vigorous, pest resistant. Loving the Seminole pumpkins. We'll continue to save seeds from those and kind of try to create our own land race of the Cucurbita moscatas, I believe they're called. We're gonna continue to land race those. More katuk. We've got gingers over here. We have the Thai Nung 64, I believe it's called, which is a sweet potato variety that we got from Cody Cove Farms. Back here, we've got our loquat, gold nugget, and you can just see like kind of the concept of this design that we did here. We have pigeon peas in front of all of our fruit trees, and that's acting in a multiple of ways. Number one, it's adding some shade for the young plants. We don't want too much of that direct Florida sun. So these are kind of the dappled light umbrella that we created. Of course, it's edible. We know that they do have some nitrogen fixing capacity. So when we cut these back, that'll help with the nitrogen fixation to our fruit trees. But really just that protection from too much harsh sun when we first planted these young trees. And look at this chia. This chia is taller than the pigeon pea right now, so love that as a great source of chop and drop. Look at this roselle. I've literally got probably 12 different roselles that are coming up here, but just love the density. Here we've got our basil, just traditional basil growing in there. Love to use those in dishes. Ice cream beans growing in between the fruit trees. That will be our emergent species, but also nitrogen fixing, and hopefully get some fruit from those as well. We even got some volunteers. I believe these are called periwinkles. Don't really mind them so much because they do have the flowers and they'll attract the pollinators. So we just let those grow up in the system. Longevity spinach, kind of more of the same back here with some different fruit trees. This is an M4 mango, starting to throw a new flush. Really loving that. We've got tomatillas. We have a red variety of amaranth. We've got more of the Egyptian spinach, obviously more Seminole pumpkin, just doing whatever it wants to do. But it's a great source of low input food, and love the calories from those Seminole pumpkins. Here we got another red lady papaya, and again, we're creating umbrellas. So that means if we see the red lady papaya, which is acting as the umbrella, that means there's a fruit tree underneath. And that fruit tree is a Brogdon avocado. So avocados, when they're young, they don't love too much direct sunlight. And then eventually they can become more emergent and susceptible or more resistant to that sunlight. So as a young avocado here, we're creating that umbrella system. letting them grow up underneath the papaya. Obviously the papaya will die back in several years, and then that Brodgen avocado will take over the space and be much more resilient to that sun. Edible leaf hibiscus. This is one of my favorite edible greens. Honestly, the roselle greens, probably my favorite edible green. Love my longevity spinach, love my sweet potato greens. But man, the roselle and this edible leaf hibiscus, just love to eat them raw. Low oxalate content, which is great, so you don't have to do the steaming or the blanching first. We use these as wraps in place of obviously any type of tortilla, so they're perfect to get some more veggies in. They do have a little bit of mucilage, but it's not bad. We really enjoy those in our dishes. Another ice cream bean there. We've got the Turk's Cap hibiscus. Haven't got any flowers yet. I think it's getting a little bit roasted over here, but it's really growing well and starting to establish. Again, pigeon pea, so that means something's under it. This is our Nishikawa avocado. That one's starting to grow really well. And then over here, we kind of got a polyculture system going on. We've got African potato mint. We have gingers. We have turmerics. We've got our black-eyed peas. We've got pigeon peas. We've got sweet potatoes. We've got marigolds. And this is really just kind of like a starch bed slash polyculture, really trying to just cover up the ground here, make sure that no weeds are coming through. And just to show you that this is a real system where real things happen, this is a Ooh La La Super Haas avocado. It just really hasn't been happy since we put it in the ground. It's got a couple new flushes of leaves, but you can see some of the branches are kind of dead. For this one, I do think it's getting too much sunlight. As you can see, this trellis is really bare right now. We do have one pigeon pea growing right here to try to help protect it, but we think it's getting a little too much sunlight. We've done some drenches with our compost tea. We've done some compost around it. We've even thrown some grass clippings around it just to create a little more organic matter, but it's not the happiest right now. So we're going to monitor this. If it doesn't make it, we'll have to replace the tree, but hopefully we can just build some light on this trellis or some shade on this trellis, protect this avocado from the light and help it reestablish itself. So overall, that is the grocery row garden system. Again, like I said, we planted this system in March of this year. It's now July, so about 4 months worth of growth here. So happy with it, really pumping some food out. So thanks for tagging along.